Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Next is your cyclones. This is also a natural disaster. Cyclone refers to any spinning storm and rotates around a low pressure. Cyclone, low level atmospheric circulation, strong winds. So that means cyclone is always because of wind pressure. And a spiral arrangement, like it comes like this. This is the spiral arrangement of thunderstorm that produce a heavy rain. Cyclones are characterized by inward spinal winds that rotate about a zone of low pressure. And warm core cyclones such as tropical cyclone and subtropical cyclones are lie within the synoptic scale. And then mesocyclones, tornadoes are lie within the small mesoscale, and cyclones are also seen in the extraterrestrial planets such as Mars, Neptune. Cyclones form due to the latent heat driven by significant thunderstorm activity. Now, there are three types of cyclones. The classification is as follows: tropical cyclones, polar cyclones, and mesocyclones. Now, see, this is the formation: tropical cyclones. Now, what exactly the tropical cyclones are? Tropical cyclones are what most people are familiar with because these are cyclones that occur over the tropical ocean regions. So that means near the sea areas. Hurricanes and typhoons are actually types of tropical cyclones, but they have different names so that it's clear where that storm is occurring. Hurricanes are found in the Atlantic and Northeast Pacific. Typhoons are found in Northwest Pacific areas. Next are your polar cyclones. Polar cyclones are that occur in polar region like Greenland. It is pretty much clear with its name only. Siberia, Antarctica are also included for that. And unlike tropical cyclones, polar cyclones are usually stronger in winter months. Now, mesocyclone. Mesocyclone is a cyclone that occurs when part of a thunderstorm cloud starts to spin, which may eventually lead to a tornado. Meso means middle. These are cyclone places in India like North Gujarat, South Gujarat, North Maharashtra, South Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, North Kerala, South Kerala. These are like sea regions: West Bengal, North Orissa, South Orissa, North Andhra Pradesh, South Andhra Pradesh, then North Tamil Nadu, South Tamil Nadu. Now see, if you could see these red zone areas, so these are very high cyclone prone places. And if you talk about blue places, these are highly cyclone prone places, and these are moderate. And yellow one, that means here, these places, these are very, very low, and the green one are moderate. Now this is a list how Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka has faced all these. Now, some severe cyclones recently held in India. In West Bengal, the cyclone named Omain held in the year 2015, Runao 2016, and Mora in 2017. In Andhra Pradesh, the cyclone named Leher occurs in 2013, Hadhad in 2014, and Kyant in 2016. And again, in Kerala, the cyclone named Nada occurs in 2016 and Varga in 2016. Now, what are the effects of these cyclones? Now, cyclones cause heavy rainfall and landslides. They cause lot of harm in the towns and villages, causing severe damage, kacha houses, coastal businesses like shipyards and oil wells destroys and cause many deaths in ocean, and money can also lost if the ship is carrying expensive cargo. They harm the ecosystem and the surrounding regions. Civic facilities are disturbed. Agricultural land is severely affected, especially in terms of water supply and soil erosion. It causes harm to human, plant, and animal life. Communication systems are badly affected due to cyclones, and many more things. Now, there are few safety measures also which we could take at the time of cyclones. What are those? Check with your local council or building control authority to see if your home has been built to cyclone standards. And check the walls, roofs, and eaves of your home are secure. Trim tree tops and branches will clear off your home and get council permission. Now, preferably fit shutters or at least metal screen to all glass areas. Clear your property of loose material that could blow about the possibly cause injury or damage during extreme winds. Hopefully, cyclones is clear to everyone. Now, let's move towards the floods. You must have heard about the floods. That means a lot of water. And floods are natural phenomenon and they are water related disaster. Like we talk about cyclones, which are wind related cyclones, and here flood is water related cyclones. Now, flood is overflow of excess water that submerges land and inflow of tidal onto land. Normally we do have a level of water in rivers. So, what happens when it is overflow of excess water that submerges land and inflow the water towards land? That means onto land. So, it is neck to neck water level. Then most frequent and deadliest, and occurs when the geomorphic equilibrium in the river system is disturbed because of intrinsic threshold and extrinsic threshold, and this is the level of the river water. Now, what are the causes of flood? Obviously, human activities are the main reason. How? Like natural reasons are heavy rains, melting of ice during volcano eruption, undersea earthquake, marine landslip. Melt water plus volcanic ash and other debris is lahar. We just read about cyclone and it was lahar. And man-made are bank erosions. That means the damages which we make at the banks of the rivers, and breach of dam, barrage and embankment. Now, what are the effects of flood? Primary, secondary, and tertiary. Now, due to direct contact of flood water, physical damage; due to result of primary effect, disruption of essential services; and tertiary, due to combined effect of primary and secondary, long-term effects. These are the effects of floods. Now, these are the areas which you could see. These are the flood-prone areas: Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Assam, West Bengal, Haryana, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, and Kerala. The green areas are flood-prone areas, and red are country capital, that is Delhi. The distributional pattern of floods in India. Assam, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Odisha are some of the states who have been severely prone to the floods. And our country receives an annual rainfall of 1200 millimeters. That means 85% of which is concentrated in 3 to 4 months, that is June to September. Now, due to the intense and periodic rain, most of the rivers of the country are fed with huge quantity of water, much beyond their carrying capacity. Now, we could control also these floods. How could we control it? Control the water level by dams, check dams. Then the leaves, that are the build barriers, embankments, flood walls, and alter the river channels, straighten it, widen and deepen it, and control land use around the river, land use zoning, and the floodways. Now, another one, very serious disaster, that is drought. That means dry land, no water. Now, these are the areas which are for the drought areas. Now, what exactly the drought is? Drought is an extended period when a region notes a deficiency in its water supply, whether surface or underground water. A drought can last for months or years or may be declared after as few or 15 days. Generally, this occurs when a region receives consistently below average precipitation, that means rain, when there is very less rain, and it can have a substantial impact on the ecosystem and agriculture of the affected region, although drought can persist for several years. Even a short intense drought can cause significant damage and harm the local economy. Now, types of drought. We can define drought in three main ways: meteorological drought, which are related to rainfall amounts; then hydrological drought, determined by water levels in reservoirs; and agricultural drought, which is related to the availability of water for crops. Now, what are the impacts? That means, what are the results? Humans are conditioned to live with the average rainfall conditions, therefore, in times of drought, we suffer. That means less rain. Evapotranspiration, runoff, and infiltration will help determine the impact of the drought. And a drought may occur within a few weeks without rain in a humid area, but will take longer to occur without rain in arid area. We might define drought in Libya as occurring when annual rainfall is less than 180 mm, but in Gaul, drought might be considered to occur after a period of only 6 days without rain. That means it varies from place to place. If the place is very much dry, if it is arid, so it could be occur in 6 days. A tornado is a violent rotating column of air extending from a thunderstorm to the ground. The most violent tornadoes are capable of tremendous destruction with wind speeds of up to 300 mph. They can destroy large buildings, uproot trees, and hurt vehicles hundreds of yards. They can also drive straw into trees. Damaged parts can be in excess of 1 mile wide to 50 miles long. And in an average year, 1,000 tornadoes are reported nationwide, most tornadoes from thunderstorm. Now, what are the causes of these natural disasters? The causes of natural disasters are many. Human activities play a role in the frequency and severity of disasters. A natural disaster is a disruption in the balance of the environment. The human factor raises in the cost in both property damage and loss of damage. And understanding that causes of natural disaster can provide use their prevention. And not all natural disasters can be prevented. Each natural disaster has its own factors and complications. Understanding the basic principles of ecology can provide keys to lessening their effects. Natural evolved with the natural disasters and disturbance. The best prevention is looking at the strategies found in nature. Some more causes of natural disaster. The consequences when a natural hazard affects human in an adverse manner. The resulting loss due to natural disaster also depends on the capacity of the population or authority. So that means the biggest reason is population or authorities to support or resist the disaster as well as emergency preparedness. The term natural has consequently been disputed because they even simply are not hazardous or disasters without human involvement, and different types of natural disasters are we have already done: tsunamis, earthquakes, avalanches, volcanoes, landslides, floods, droughts, and forest fires. Now, causes of drought. The initial causes of drought is associated with a change in atmospheric conditions. That means the persistent high pressure, El Nino, and a change in ocean temperatures and changing depression tracks. Now, what precautions do we take at this time? Monitor water supply usage nationwide, develop more efficient appliances, improve irrigation technologies through drought tolerant and landscape design, improve the use of recycled water. Now, next one is man-made. Till now we were doing the natural disasters, now the man-made disasters for which man is responsible. See, for natural disasters also, like human being is responsible, and man-made, obviously we people are responsible. A man-made disaster is a disaster resulting from human intent, negligence, or error. And man-made disasters can be both intentional or unintentional. It results in huge loss of life and property, and it further affects a person's mental, physical, and social well-being. Now, the causes are ignorance, unawareness, and literacy 40%. Ignorance is 52%, and unawareness is your 20%. That means this is 20%, and illiteracy is 40%, and carelessness is 42%. So these are the major roles. That means ignorance and carelessness, one and the same thing almost. Now, man-made disasters can be nuclear disaster, chemical disasters, radiological emergencies, and terrorism. Now, let's see what are the precautions. Now, nuclear accidents are a type of explosion deriving its force from nuclear reactions of fission and fusion. It is of two types of fission and fusion. And examples of fusion are atomic bombs, bombs, fission bombs, eggs of fusion bombs are hydrogen, and H bombs, fusion bombs, etc. Now, what are the precautions from nuclear accidents? Common indicators of these disasters are vomiting, nausea, dizziness. Don't look at fire as it causes instant blindness, and close all doors and windows as radioactivity doesn't penetrate into solid structures. Cover all food and water and listen government orders. Now, next are the chemical disasters. Disasters that are caused by the excessive use and misuse of chemicals, especially the industrial areas, and in industries are called chemical disasters. The irresponsible handling of powerful chemicals can cause widespread deforestation. And the precautions. Now, the industries using harmful and powerful chemicals should be located far away from residential areas, and these should be surveys to keep a check for the activity. The government should formulate an emergency plan, or in case of an accident, pollution levels should be checked and maintained. Now the fire accidents. Accidents that are caused due to fire are quite common, and fire results in heavy damage both in terms of life and property. Loss of life is high in crowded building, and here you could see the pictures as well. And what are the precautions we should take at the fire accidents? The main reason is poor wiring and faulty electrical equipment, leaking gas or carelessly thrown cigarettes and matches. The main power supply source is good condition, wires should be properly covered, inflammable things should be kept out of reach of children, power points shouldn't be overloaded. Now the radiological emergencies. Take cover yourself, keep your condition till the flash hot and flying and filling debris. Be aware of intense flashlight coming from the explosion of a nuclear weapon. Then head urgently for the nearest shelter without panic. You have to 30-60 minutes before you reach the shelter. And protect your mouth and nose with swab or cloth, etc. You must wash your hands, face, and other uncovered part of our body and take the necessary equipments with you and into the shelter. Now, the terrorism. This is another type of disaster that results in loss of life and property. Terrorists use violence and strike without warning. They use bombs, guns, etc. to terrorize people. And they are the people, those who try to spread the terror among the people. So we should not feel scared, but at that time we had to use the things very intellectually. Like, what precautions do we take? We must inform police if we come across any suspected group of people. We must stay away from any suspicious things and inform police about that. And do not accept packages from the strangers, and do not leave luggage unattended while traveling. So, informing the police and staying away the suspicious things, and not accepting the packages from strangers, and not leaving luggage unattended while traveling are the precautions. Now, the examples of man-made disasters are London smog, the El Mishraq fire, the nuclear power plant explosion in Chernobyl, the Kuwait oil fires, the destruction of Ariel Sea. And the effects of disasters are like, the disasters have only caused due to life and property. The animals face the threat of extinction. Good yielding land turns into a wasteland. Humans suffer from severe ailments, and everywhere there is a health problem. Till date, we do remember that the terror of Hiroshima Nagasaki bomb blast and the after effects as well. Now, how can we reduce the risk of disaster? Awareness, education, preparedness, and prediction and warning systems can reduce the disruptive impacts of natural disaster on communities. Mitigation measures such as adoption of zoning, land use practices, and building codes are needed, however, to prevent or reduce actual damage from hazards. Rather, disasters reflect people's vulnerability or their susceptibility to be affected. When confronted with floods, cyclones, volcanic eruptions, landslides, or other potentially eruptions, landslides, or other potentially harmful natural phenomena, yet those who suffer from disasters are not helpless victims. And there are few precautions. Ensure safe drinking water, sanitation after a disaster. Health workers should be trained. Covering of all stored water containers. A surveillance should be established to detect outbreaks. And all these natural hazards or disasters are caused due to human activities or sometimes the natural causes. But the requirement of the time is to use and follow the precautions, and to use your witness to overcome all these problems.